Uh-oh.
It sounds as though someone else may have already been poked.
Oh, that's the end of chapter 1. Okay. Oh dear. Chapter 2, the altercation. Oh, so is this just going to be one big case with all the different chapters in it? Yeah, that looks like the pictures of the French uniform.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you would be so kind to return to the party.
With all this excitement out here,
I believe that is an end to the excitement, as you put it, Monsieur Demire.
It is hardly the job of a detective to resolve domestic arguments, but under the circumstances, perhaps there is more to it. I shall speak with the Major outside.
Oh, thank God. One last match.
Bonjour, Monsieur Hagen.
Major.
I wondered when you would be arriving. At least now you can do your job.
Pardon, Monsieur.
I have just been assaulted. I want him arrested.
I'm afraid it is not as simple as that. I merely witnessed you standing up from the ground.
Would you, yeah, yes, yeah, exactly. Like, would you like to explain what happened?
This is ridiculous. You know very well what he did.
Well, it could have been. He could have thought it was self-defense, in which case he could not be. He would have a defense, or it could be. No, not. But tell me what happened.
Perhaps you could elaborate on what instigated the altercation.
I should have known you wouldn't make things easy.
It is clear the Major still outraged by what has just happened, but I must learn what caused such escalation to physical violence. Push on whether the Major instigated the altercation.
I have met Monsieur Demire. He does not seem one to physically assault someone unless provoked.
Monsieur Demire, I thought it was Gideon who did it. Gideon.
I hope you're not implying that I started it.
I am only stating what I have seen.
I was having a private conversation with Angeline when he interrupted and struck me. That is all there is to know.
If the Major is still the same man that I met all those years ago, I'm sure he will remain defensive, and the blame for the altercation will fall solely on Monsieur Demire. Perhaps the best approach would be to act as though I'm on the Major's side and coax out the truth. Implicating? No, you don't really want to implicate him. It must have been a rather heated conversation for him to intervene.
The content of my conversation is not your concern. What should be is that a man has been physically assaulted in his own home.
I understood this to be Nemozine House, the Vandenbosch residence. Am I mistaken?
And I reside here. My home is not what is being questioned right now.
You have grown rather close with the Vandenbosch family, it seems.
What has my relationship with the family got to do with anything? Why are you even here, officer?
Detective. And I was invited by Mademoiselle Angeline, personally.
Seems to be mistake after mistake with that girl.
Oh, it is Gideon Demire. Okay, for some reason I thought it was Zach was Demire. Okay, right. Do you think she has made a mistake in agreeing to marry Monsieur Demire?
Of course I do. What a stupid question. He is scum. Him and his whole family. If I had my way, he wouldn't have even stepped foot in this house.
He wears the correct uniform. Yeah, do you think Monsieur Demire's actions were appropriate? No. There is clearly some hostility between you and Monsieur Demire.
Officer Poirot, are you going to do something about him or not?
It is Detective Poirot. And if you refuse to answer my questions, I do not see how I can continue.
Yeah, I need as much evidence as possible to present to my superiors.
I just don't know what she sees in him. Angeline could do so much better. I don't think she realizes what she is getting herself into. I can't imagine her living a happy life with that rogue.
Ooh.
I see. Merci, monsieur, for your honest opinion, whether I agree or not. I shall leave you to your cigar and return to the party.
Okay, uncover a secret from the Major. Okay. It's not often such a violent altercation happens at celebrations such as this. Depends on the family. I should investigate why it began. Oh! This party is already filled with more drama than most, and it has barely begun. I was rescued here to find the blackmail, or perhaps the altercation is connected somehow. Okay, so that's a thing. So no actual new information. Oh, flip. No actual new information. So we've still got the blackmail, and then we have to find out what happened with the altercation. So it might be wise. Oh, hello. Oh, let's talk to Archibald. Do you have anything on this?
Monsieur Sterling, I trust the preparations are progressing since our last meeting.
Please, Detective. Archibald is fine. Everything is in order now. Are you ready to join the party?
You are head butler of this house. It is a position that warrants respect, and I shall continue to give it, Monsieur Sterling. And I must admit, it is the smell from the kitchen that has my attention more than the party itself.
Rehana is quite the cook, but it will still be some time. Maybe you'd like to enjoy a drink while you wait. Some of the guests are already in the salon to your left.
Okay.
And the remaining guests are in the library on the first floor.
I will be sure to explore.
That must be the
both.
door. That must be the fancier doors. You do not want to interject in the altercation between Monsieur Demire and the Major?
It is my responsibility to look after the house and staff, not to resolve petty disputes.
I cannot imagine he will be in any mood to attend the party.
He often has a cigar to calm down. And if that doesn't relax him, that temperature outside surely will.
Do this evening's plans fall into any sort of schedule?
Dinner will be served in the dining room, but the rest of the evening is yours to enjoy.
You have all certainly been working hard, it seems.
Very hard. The lady of the house wanted everything a certain way, and that's how it was to be done.
Merci. You have been most helpful.
Right. Oh, another one. Another mind map. Simon met my fellow guests of the party. They all have a connection to the family in some respect, and although they are here to join in the celebrations, perhaps one of them has more sinister motives. Okay, so we got the Major, Archibald, but we haven't got a connection to make. It's just inspect the areas. So the salon is here. So I think it's going to be probably me a lot of talking to people, I assume, this section. Quite a substantial sized bottle of alcohol, already half drunk. Why is a half-empty bottle sitting on the bar with no glasses beside it? Maybe because people have... Well, there's glasses there, or maybe someone has taken all the glasses. The chance to play is very tempting, but I shall save myself the embarrassment. Newspaper. Marco. News of the continued factory strikes. Workers demanding fair treatment by Jacqueline Conrad. So that's someone who is... That's one of the guests, I believe. Right. I'm talking to you. The fireplace. Roaring fire, I could stand and gaze in flames for hours. Okay. So hypnotic fireplaces. That's what we have here.
Allow me to introduce myself. Hercule Poirot.
Detective Hercule Poirot? I heard we were being joined by one of the King's finest officers.
The way they talk like that, did Poirot used to be in the military? I think he was involved in World War I, but I thought he was in the police before that, like early 1900s. Certainly if that's the French uniform, because it isn't the British it isn't the British uniform of World War I, and I think it is the French that the Major is wearing. And that's pre-World War I, because they got rid of the red trousers after, I think, the first few months of World War I, because it really made the French troops really obvious, and so there was a really high casualty rate. So yeah, so I don't think I'm an officer.
Oui, madame. I see my name precedes me.
Comtesse Margot de Vos. Charmed, I'm sure.
It is I who is charmed.
Handsome, well-mannered, and a man of the law. I did not expect such a fine caliber of gentleman at this party.
Comtesse, Your compliments are enough to make a young detective blush.
Besides flattery, what is it you do?
I fill my time mostly with charity work. The number of those less fortunate only continues to grow.
How very admirable.
One must remain humble.
Which side of the engagement brings you here?
I have been a close friend to the Van den Bosch family for, well, heaven knows how long.
You must have known the late Viscount then.
Indeed, we had been friends since our school days. His passing was very hard on both Cassandra and young Angeline. I became a sort of protector of them both after his death. A guardian angel, if you will.
I've learnt that friendship in these higher social circles can be nothing more than a facade to remain in that position. Perhaps the Comtesse is vying for Madame Van den Bosch's position. It was quite a shock to see the Major lie in the hall like that.
You will find Felix at the center of any
Ooh.
problem, especially when it concerns the ladies of the house.
Oh dear.
I understand he has made himself quite at home here.
What an understatement. He thinks his friendship with Cassandra entitles him to anything and everything in the house, including certain opinions of how young Angeline lives her life.
He does not approve of Monsieur Demire?
You'd have to ask him, or rather speak with Gideon's brother. He will have something to say about Felix, I am sure.
The Comtesse is well versed in drawing one in with delicious bait and then leaving them biting on the line. Another conversation with Monsieur Zacharier is in order. What are your thoughts on Monsieur Demire?
A strapping young man. Angeline has found herself a good one. They certainly make a handsome couple.
Speaking with them both, it is plain to see, even to one that is unexperienced in such emotions, that there is a great deal of love between them.
When they are together, it is obvious for all to see, even at such a young age. But who are we to judge what the heart wants?
Okay.
It has been a pleasure conversing. I look forward to our next tete-a-tete.
Right. Any new information from that? Any new links? No. So we just want to chat with people then.
Madame Van den Bosch, congratulations are in order on your daughter's engagement.
Thank you. And you are?
Should we just lie and avoid the difficulty?
Detective Poirot.
I'm sorry, the name eludes me.
That day at the Van den Bosch house has stayed with me. It opened my eyes to the unjust treatment of the working class. I've been a driving force in becoming the detective I am today. And yet I've barely been a second thought to her. Yeah. You were someone who was slightly in a way and then got removed as an obstacle.
Once Officer Poirot, I investigated your daughter's missing bracelet.
Why are you raising this?
Oh, it's you. There is no missing jewelry here today, so we are really not in need of your services.
I am here on a rather more pressing...
I know why you are here, officer. Detective, whatever you are now. Please, just get on with it.
No, just say you're invited. Well, no, she actually knows. But you now mention, oh, well, of course, with the Major being struck, I need to investigate that, because she seems to get on with the Major. So it's like, oh, I just need to get everything, I just need to get statements from everyone to know exactly what happened, blah, 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 then we can just arrest him.
Detective, and I promise not to keep you too long.
You must be elated at the news of Mademoiselle Angeline's engagement.
Gideon is a fine, educated young man from a well-respected family.
All important when considering a new son-in-law.
A good home and education speaks volumes about a man. Even in the short time they have been engaged, his noble character is obvious. If you were an educated man, you would know that.
I can assure you, madame, my education is not one to be sneered at.
And yet you remain a mere detective. Perhaps it is your choices, then, that are to be questioned.
Your daughter invited me here to find the blackmailer. Oh. Right, okay, yeah.
Keep your volume down. She had no right to do such a thing. As soon as the other ladies get wind that there was a police officer in-house, the whole town will know.
They already know.
Perhaps you should be more focused on catching the blackmailer that is holding your family's name to ransom than what the chattering women of the town will say.
I care more about what those chattering women, as you so rudely describe them, have to say than the empty threat of an anonymous letter.
Well, we have a name. It may not be accurate, but a Monsieur Dupont.
Your daughter does not agree. In fact, it has been suggested that one of tonight's guests may know more than they are willing to show.
The guests? You mean our friends? You can't honestly believe one of them would be so petty to send a letter like that. Oh, officer, you have not changed.
I think his hairline has. The altercation... I understand the Major's not fond of Angeline's husband-to-be.
You can make whatever assumptions you...
It's not an assumption, he told us.
Based on several accounts, it seems as though the Major has a certain level of disdain for him and his brother.
Felix is merely protecting both my daughter and the Van den Bosch name.
Or is he hoping for her himself?
Protecting them from what exactly?
That is a question best asked to them.
Well, I understand the altercation earlier began with an argument between the Major and Angeline.
Angeline is her own woman now. She can fight her own battles. She does not need her husband to be stepping in.
And what battles would they be?
Nothing that concerns you, detective.
I mean, no, you make the point. It's like, well, if it's something that is reasonable for the Major to come in, then, you know, I can't arrest him, because then I'll get in trouble. But if it's something that caused him to attack the Major illegally and unfairly, then... Sorry, I'm just doing what I would do. I'm not sure what I expected in asking Madame Van den Bosch about, well, anything. Well, I must thank you for your hospitality tonight.
I suppose it is only polite to say you're welcome.
Madame is as quick-witted as I remember.
What a shame there is nothing as memorable about you but your lack of respect.
Well, you didn't even remember that. I should have known getting into a verbal battle with Madame would not be easily won. Perhaps you just tell me about the family secret, the one your daughter is protecting.
What do you mean, protecting? She hasn't gone and paid that silly ransom, has she?
Yeah, we probably shouldn't have mentioned this.
It was Monsieur Demire that accepted the cost. He paid it because your daughter believes there may be something to hide.
For heaven's sake! Why do you think it was addressed to her and not I in the first place? Because they knew I would throw it in the rubbish where it belongs.
Madame, if there is something you are keeping, it would be wise to tell me now. It may help in identifying the culprit.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be wise for you to stay out of my family's business. If I require your help, I shall ask for it. But don't hold your breath.
Right.
Merci. An enchanting conversation, as always.
Right, okay, let's, well, any connections we can make? Nope.